Back home, one young Singaporean indoor skydiver claimed the silver medal in the solo freestyle open category of the biennial FAI World Indoor Skydiving Championship held in Lille, France recently.
16-year-old Kyra Poh was neck and neck with Germany's Rafael Schwaiger down to the last round of the competition. But she made it all look effortless, and that was with a routine combining dancing and floating in a giant vertical wind tunnel with winds that were going as fast as 230 kilometers per hour.
The competition saw over 300 world-class indoor skydivers from 31 countries compete in 5 different disciplines. And Kyra Poh joins us right here in studio tonight. Kyra, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that silver medal.
Thank you so much.
But first of all, you've got to take us back through this journey, right? So
Okay.
as you were stepping into that vertical wind tunnel, what were some of the thoughts that you were thinking
When
about?
I first started,
No, as you were walking through for that competition.
of course the nerves were on. I was really nervous because we were going head to head and we were actually doing a tiebreaker. So we were tied all the way to the end. So of course I would have to go through my mind of what I have to remember throughout the routines and all the points I have to remember. And my last step will be to pray. And also because when I do my freestyle, I will delegate it to my late grandfather. So I would think about him before I go into the wind tunnel. Yeah.
What got you into this in the first place, Kyra? It's not the usual thing that a person of your age might consider doing.
Yeah, actually, I got into it by chance because my mom was helping iFly Singapore, where I train at. She was helping them do the advertisements when we started, and they needed people to fly so that they could film. So I was asked to come with me and my partner, and from then on, the CEO, Uncle Lawrence, actually asked us to perform for their opening ceremony. So that's how we got started.
So you were like the unwitting
Poster
champion.
girl.
Yeah, so I think it's all fated, and I'm very happy of how it turned out. Yeah.
And after that, you know, it's one thing doing it for leisure or for fun, but to take the next step into competition, that can't be an easy choice. I mean, for somebody your age.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've been doing it for 8 years and I'm only 16, so that's half of my life already. When I first started, I never knew that you could do it competitively, but once I found out that we could actually compete overseas and represent the country, it was something that I really wanted to do. And I think that now, actually, we have recently been nominated for Sports Girl of the Year, and me and my partner, Ishan, we have been nominated for Sports Girl Team of the Year. So I think that it's really awesome how Singapore has given awareness to this sport, even though it's not an Olympic sport.
We were saying just now that you made it look effortless, but there's so much that must go into the choreography of this particular routine. How do you even begin to sort of, you know, get started with what you're going to do when you get in there?
So it takes a lot of training before that. We train usually 3 times a year, but before the competition, we train every day. And because I'm still in school, I finish school around 6 p.m. and I train around 10, and then I start doing homework all the way to like 1 or 2. So it's a lot of like practice and hard work putting it inside to do our routine and go for competitions. But I think training-wise, we have to always stretch, because I have to do all the splits in the tunnel and everything, and we have to think of new moves in the tunnel, like going and looking through inspiration from like the internet, from sports like dance and ice skating.
Did you have a dance background at all?
No, not at all, yeah. So when I first started, I could barely do a split, and I had to really stretch every single day, and it was painful, but I'm very happy that I can do it now.
How do you go about choosing your routines? I mean, you know, I know you've mentioned that you go online and look for inspiration and all that.
Yeah.
How do you, I mean, when you look at YouTube clips, I imagine, what comes out at you, or what makes you think, hey, I can do this?
Okay, so when I look, because this sport is so unique, like you can do it upside down or do it like in any dimension. So when I look at an ice skating move or a dance move per se, I would think of maybe how I could do it upside down or like any different dimension, and I would just have to try and experiment in the tunnel because the sport is relatively new. So we really, in order to stand out and be unique in the sport and in the competition, you really have to push to your limits and create a new move. Yeah.
Kyra, with competitive sports like with gymnastics, they have like levels of difficulty for certain moves. Is it the same with this?
Yeah.
You know, do you sort of zoom in on certain moves that are going to give you a higher grade?
So for indoor skydiving, we do have a difficulty score, and for me, I try to incorporate many fast moves and very flexible moves too, because I do a two-way dynamic team with my partner, and it's more like powerful and hard. I try to incorporate both of what I learned because it's something that I'm both passionate about. So I try to combine it both and do it. So obviously, it would hopefully bring my difficulty higher.
Just as the last question, we were talking just now and you mentioned that you were actually competing with a lot of your with your coach actually at this latest competition.
Yeah.
You were saying, of course, that the community is rather small as well.
Yeah.
Give us a sense of what it's like in the locker room, right? You know, when you're coming up with your friends, essentially.
So because this sport is such a small community now. It's growing, of course, but it's relatively small. We are all friends with everyone, and actually most of my competitors in the open category used to be my coaches and still train me till this day. So, of course, we are wishing them the best of luck. And before we go into the tunnel, actually, I wished the person, Rafael, the best of luck, and that we hope we both would do our best in the competition. So I think it's really nice because everyone's cheering for one another. And even though I was going head to head against him, everyone, like even my mom and all of us, were rooting for him as well. Like, we're all encouraging each other. And I think that is really important. That's why for me now, my aim would be to help the younger generation in Singapore, which is my sister, and she's only 9 years old, and she's already starting to train. So I think most importantly, it's not about the wins and the competition, but it's more of helping the younger generation.
Really what sport is all about, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Kyra, thanks very much for joining us tonight,
so
and
much.
congratulations on your silver medal in France. We've been speaking there with Kyra Poh, who just recently won the silver medal in the solo freestyle open category at the biennial FAI World Indoor Skydiving Championship.